Welcome back to the Prospect Talk podcast.
How we doing?
Got a lot to talk about.
Doing good, boys.
We're back with Danny, Doug, Eli, Fernando.
Yes, sir.
A lot going on this week. A lot going on this week.
A lot from a bunch of different sports, too.
Yeah, I feel like we're going to talk a little bit about everything this week.
It's very action-packed, I would say.
I think the first thing we kind of got to talk about is the greatest comeback story in the history of sports.
Oh, you're talking about how the Clippers and the Warriors?
No.
Absolutely not. We're talking about Tiger Woods winning the 2019 Masters. Come on. Clap it up, boys.
No, that's I'm happy for Tiger.
I'm meh for Tiger.
In a weird way, like
I'm ecstatic. I'm so happy.
So first of all, it's awesome. He's a lot closer to the record for the majors. But what I want to know is how is he so celebrated when what he did, right, with the whole scandal with with all the women and stuff like that. It's pretty he's a scumbag. So I want to know how everyone's on his side now. And I feel like he never, he got his sponsorships taken away at first, but I feel like he never really ever had to face the public backlash from that.
I disagree with that.
Yeah, I think
I don't think he should be celebrated like he is right now, but
I do. I felt like I just won the Masters. Are you kidding me? I'm so happy right now.
I think it's just because he's an American.
Just so everybody knows, Eli genuinely believes he just won the Masters. He's got his green coat on right now.
Oh, but there's a rain delay.
I'll put up a pic on the Instagram.
No, but you know what I mean? I don't understand how people. I feel like people just forgot about that. You know what I mean?
I don't think we forgot about it. I think it's been a while,
it's been a long while.
It's been a while. 2009.
Yeah.
Well, you know what it is? I think.
And I think he definitely got he definitely heard from everybody what he was going through. I don't think he didn't experience any backlash at all. It was definitely a big scene while that was happening.
So
wow.
I think the reason why people don't really think about it as much now as he's on his road back to glory and he won the Masters. I think it's honestly just because of how many injuries he's had.
He's faced so much adversity. He's gone through at least 4 or 5 surgeries. There was one point where he said he didn't think he would walk again because it just hurt so badly to stand up.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are contributing the scandal to why his play was so bad, and people kind of overlook the fact that he was injured so often.
Well, I think it was just a big coincidence. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I feel like sometimes you can talk about that and you'd be like, oh yeah, that did happen, right? People completely, I don't think it ever enters their mind when they never associate Tiger Woods with that. You know what I mean? When there's certain athletes out there that have been in worse trouble or not as bad as trouble and they still get associated with whatever that is they did. You know
so I call it the Kobe Bryant effect because that happened to Kobe too. He went through the rape allegations, he went to court and we really don't know what did happen. And we kind of forgot about it because he won a championship.
Yeah.
Two thoughts on that. One, is it because they're so great? Or is it because they had time to recover from that during their career? You know what I mean? If that would have happened and after their career, do you think it then tarnishes their legacy? But because they have more time to go back on the court, go back onto the the golf course, they have time to kind of make it up.
I think winning cures everything, and maybe I think that works more for Kobe. But Tiger Woods really hasn't been on the golf course. He's been off of it more than on it.
Well, I'm saying now that he's won, you know what I mean? Does that become more and more of a, if he continues to win and he maintains that high level?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I think even if you go ahead, Mando. What were you trying to say?
I was just gonna say it'll always be a footnote. We're never not gonna forget, or we're never gonna forget what actually happened.
I disagree, man. There's some people that I talk to that you bring that up and they're like, oh yeah. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're just casual fans.
Let's refresh the audience exactly what he was accused for.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah. I was letting you do it, but you're so into it.
So pretty much, he had a really messy
car accident.
Yeah, which was caused by a
His
domestic
wife.
dispute with his
Yeah.
wife.
Through a golf club.
Yes, at his vehicle. It actually happened in Windermere, maybe like
Yeah.
10 minutes from where we're recording right now. I remember like waking up in the morning, seeing it on the news, and
The
there being
crazy
like
part
cops all
is
over the place.
nobody knew what happened. Everybody just said Tiger got in a car accident, and then everything slowly started coming
the
out.
media started
Yeah.
coming.
That usually happens, though. Yeah.
Yeah, and pretty much his wife caught him cheating, not just with one girl, like with multiple.
Is
And
there
then
even a definite number? There's a
I don't think there
bunch.
is a definite
Yeah.
number. There was a bunch.
I don't think there ever will be.
And then as reports got out to the media, more and more women came forward and be like, yeah, I was one of Tiger's mistresses. Now, who knows, if those are all like valid. Because, sometimes people are just looking for their 15 minutes. But, they started popping up all over the places. I'm sure most of them were real. And so after that, because of that, he lost his sponsorship with Gatorade. Remember they had Gatorade Tiger.
I love those.
Wow,
They were awesome. They yanked them off the shelves. Like they had just come out. He lost his sponsorship with Nike, which now
Big
he has
one.
back.
Yeah.
But that was a big thing, like a big scandal, and no one ever mentions it ever.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it depends who you listen to or who you talk to, because you do on the Tiger haters and then the Tiger lovers, they'll never mention it. It's hit or miss. It really is. But I think with him winning the Masters, that shouldn't be the focus of, this glorious moment that we're in right now.
Not at all. I just think it's odd. I feel like you don't see that with other athletes. Like I think Kobe is like the only one where you completely disregard that like moment in time.
And then maybe it's the magnitude of the start.
Yeah,
It's Tiger
sure.
Woods, right?
Yeah. I feel like that has to play a part because, and on top of that, he was the first American that really that the entire country, whether you were a golf fan or not, would root
For
root
Tiger.
for.
Everybody was
Everyone.
rooting for Tiger this weekend. If you weren't
Yeah.
rooting for Tiger,
Well, and even
You weren't
before
alive.
the incident, so even before that, he was our guy. He was probably one of the most famous American athletes
So
at the time.
I have a question. Who's a bigger sports icon? Tiger Woods or Michael Jordan?
It's
Ooh.
tough.
Now, I know we didn't have time to prep for this, but I just threw it to you guys on the spot.
I want to say Tiger
I say Tiger as well.
because what he was doing at that time, he was just
Correct.
so dominant. Where not saying Michael Jordan wasn't dominant, but Tiger Woods was so dominant in the fashion that you knew when he was on the pitch and he was on his game, there was going to be no one that was going to even be able to compete. You know what I mean? At least with Michael, teams still got out there and they still had you performed well, and there was players that still played well.
So that's where I agree with you. Because when I think of icon, I think of we watch golf to watch Tiger Woods. When Tiger Woods stopped golfing, we stopped watching golf. When
Golf
Michael
fell
Jo-
off the face of the
Exactly.
earth when, in terms of Americans at least.
Absolutely. Tiger Woods just won. Everybody's acting like we've been watching golf for the last 2 years.
Yeah,
We haven't been. When Michael Jordan retired, basketball kept on going. Kobe Bryant came along. LeBron James came along. That's why I kind of believe Tiger Woods is a bigger icon. I'm not saying he's greater at his sport than Michael Jordan
but is
was.
that a testament to Tiger, or is that more of the fact that the sport?
Yeah, that's what I was going to take it to. Because I think, as far as overall icon, I think Michael Jordan is. But that's because the NBA kind of propels that. The NBA is more worldwide, especially nowadays.
You think the NBA is more worldwide than golf?
Yeah, I disagree.
Well,
I highly disagree.
Well, I think promotion-wise, yeah, I think so.
You're thinking in terms of marketing and
Yeah,
advertising?
the overall marketing advertisement.
no,
They
golf
got the
doesn't do that.
Michael Jordan shoes, the Jordans.
Yeah, but
Everybody's talks about
you're
growing
saying
up.
basketball is more infused with cultures worldwide.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
what do you think, Nando?
I think that golf is going to be more of a known approach to people. But going back to the actual convo between who's a bigger icon, Tiger or Jordan, I have to agree with you guys. I think that what Tiger was doing, especially at such a young age when he won his first Masters, I think it was that kind of solidified the beginning of his run. What he did, you guys are right. He was just pretty much we were tuning into golf just to watch him. And
I don't think anybody has dominated a sport the way Tiger Woods dominated golf.
No.
That's
one.
where I see it. Where I think the gap between Tiger and any other golfer is way more than MJ and the next biggest
There is
superstar.
fear to other golfers when Tiger was at his peak.
Well, remember when Tiger was at his peak,
He was winning everything.
everyone thought that he was going to absolutely demolish that Masters record because he got so close in such a short time. They're like, oh, he can keep playing for another 20, 30 years.
He still might get it if he continues this up.
As long as he maintains
Stays
that
healthy,
performance
right?
and he stays healthy. I don't know. Let's see.
Well, I got a question to propose to you guys. With 2019, this new culture of women empowerment movement and everything like that, if that scandal happened nowadays, do you think Tiger bounces back?
Absolutely not. I think he's crucified so poorly in the media that he's never given the opportunity to recover.
It's hard to say. It would definitely be harder.
It would be so difficult, especially in light of we have icons that were. I mean, I'm just gonna say it. Bill Cosby, right? He was a comedic icon for the long time, and after what he did, now granted, what he did was obviously way worse,
way more severe.
But I think in light of that, let's say if something like that with Tiger happened now, I think not only does it look worse, but I think more people come out, and potentially the same people that are looking for the 15 minutes of fame and just saying like, hey, I was with Tiger. I think now those same people can have like ammunition to accuse him of certain things, and now people have to be like, oh, well, now we have to look into this a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then that really tarnishes his legacy. I think if it happens now, it's a much longer road to recovery.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, that was a good question. Yeah.
Yeah, that was an awesome question.
Let's not give him too much credit. It was an okay question.
Where's my round of applause? Give me the applause.
You want a round of applause, bro? I got you, bro. No problem.
There we go. The other thing that we have going on right now, obviously, the NBA playoffs, right? I mean, granted, it's the first round. I feel like the first round's always kind of boring. I feel like it's very, very predictable games. I mean, other than
I don't think this year.
It's a little
I
bit,
like the first round this year.
It's been
so
a little
far.
bit frisky for the lower seeded
I don't know.
teams.
I feel like we've had like some blowouts already that I'm like, man.
We have, but I
this.
think these blowouts have been by, like Doug said, the lower seeds.
Yeah.
Like Brooklyn came out and won game one. The Magic came out and won game one.
That wasn't a blowout though.
It wasn't a blowout, but coming on top.
But I want to ask you something about that Toronto and Orlando game. What the hell happened to Kyle Lowry?
Kyle Lowry is being Kyle Lowry.
What
right?
happened was the playoffs. That's what happened to Kyle
Well, no,
Lowry.
because his game two was decent.
I predicted this. Following the Toronto Raptors for as long as I have, and following Kyle Lowry since he's been on the Toronto Raptors, his game one performances, whether it be the opening series, the second series, have always been trash. He does not perform in game one. But every game two, he bounces back, and we kind of forget about game one. And it's so predictable. It happens every year with Kyle Lowry. I knew everybody would overreact. I was expecting a bad game. I wasn't expecting 0 points.
He shot 0 for 7.
I was
0 for 6 on 3.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that, but
I mean, he
wasn't
still
expecting a bad
contributed in
game.
terms of rebounds and assists and stuff like that. But
That boy DJ Augustine showed him up though.
he had a game.
Yeah.
He had a game. He had the clutch 3. That was a good game.
Great game to watch.
But then Toronto came back out the very next game and was like, nah, we're not
It's
having
not
that.
Toronto just has too much talent.
Kawhi dropped 35.
37.
37, my bad. Kyle Lowry came out with 22.
Yeah.
I think
we win in 5 or 6.
yeah.
I think so too.
I think so too. I think Orlando kind of like they played their game. That was the fans' championship.
Well, what's
And-
going on with Vucic? Marcus All has been shutting him down.
That's why you trade for Marcus All.
wow.
That's exactly why you trade for Marcus.
Yeah.
All. That's a
Vucic
great
has
point.
scored, I think, a combined 17 points in the 2 games.
But in all reality, like who is their go-to? Like
It's-
Vooch?
It has
It's
to
Vooch.
be. It's Vooch.
Yeah.
Offensively, yeah, it has to be.
He's their all-star, right?
Yeah, but I mean, who else after that? Like you can't really. I don't think you can really rely on Aaron Gordon.
I think their second
Hell
best
no.
scorer is honestly Terrence Ross.
Yeah.
Oh dear God, and that says a lot.
T. Ross,
He
baby.
actually's been playing nice
T-Ross.
as of recently.
Yeah, but to be your second best scorer on a team, I think that just proves that like there's just the current NBA playoff format is terrible.
Yeah.
There's certain teams that don't belong in the playoffs. Like,
Let me ask.
No,
let
you
me
got to
ask
give them
guys
credit
this.
though. They played good to get in there.
go ahead, Nando.
Just I know it's kind of early. We only had like 1 or 2 games here, but has there been any team that has maybe underperformed what you might have thought from the beginning of the playoffs, or is everything kind of what you expected?
Well, let's just talk about the egg in the room. That's well, Doug, I'll let you take this one over. Go ahead, buddy.
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Talking about your Warriors blowing a 31-point lead.
Hey, look.
What do you have to say for yourself,
Oh,
Doug?
I'm
just answer this
disappointed.
question.
All right.
How does that happen?
How it happens is they completely thought the game was over, overlooked the team, which it's completely their fault. They should never do, especially in the playoffs.
100%
Especially
lack
like
of focus.
a Clippers team who is known to be like high energy,
Scrappy.
scrappy team. I still think we win in 5. I think it's a good wake up call for the team. Pretty tough with the Boogie Cousins injury. KD, he's just not looking like himself.
I want to get back to that Boogie Cousins injury in a little bit.
But since you brought up KD, let's talk about KD.
Yes.
And what's going on there.
KD's frustrating. Oh my god. I never hated and loved the player so much. In my
Why do you
life.
think he's so mentally weak?
I can't answer that. I don't know why. Like,
Why do you think Charles Barkley called him out?
because he deserves to be called out.
I got 2 words for you, Doug. Patrick Beverly.
He's in his head. He's 100% in his head.
He owns
I
all the real
guess.
estate in KD's head.
Without a doubt.
But see, this is where I don't understand. Like, because Pat Bev's that type of player. Like, how you let that get to you?
You know going into that series that
Yeah.
he's going to be on your ass the entire
Do
time.
you think KD's not mentally there in Golden State
Yes.
right now?
Yes.
You think he's already worried about free agency?
No, I think his teammates with the fallout with Draymond earlier this year, with the media pressuring him, asking him all these questions, I think he's just.
I don't
Like-
think KD cares.
No,
I
I
really don't.
disagree because the way he reacts definitely seems like he cares. But I think for him, it became more of a distraction.
I don't know. I don't know. I can't understand how you're the best scorer in the NBA and you let somebody get under your skin that easily. Like how do you consider yourself like a superstar?
Well, he's definitely a
He's
superstar.
definitely. I can't.
No,
I
no.
can't
But
deny
what I'm
that.
saying is like as a superstar, you should be the one getting under people's skin.
Yeah, I agree.
You need to be the one in someone's ear, like in their head.
That's not KD's character. I think we need to give more credit to Patrick Beverly because it's not just KD. He does it to everybody he plays against.
I can't believe I'm doing this, but I actually got to give credit to Doc Rivers for
Doc Rivers, this is the best coaching job he's ever done
I
in
hate
his
Doc Rivers,
career.
but
I know you
have
think
to
he's
admit it.
overrated.
Yeah,
I am telling you, this is the best he's ever done with the talent that he has.
He doesn't have a lot on that team.
He does not have a lot. He lost his best player in the middle of the season, being Tobias Harris,
Yep.
and still got his team to the playoffs and competing against the Warriors.
You know, I think it goes back to what Doug's saying. They're a high energy, scrappy team that's never going to go away.
if you just look at the players on a team, Harrell, Shamet, Shai
Beverly.
Alexander, Bev, like all those.
Gallinari
players.
even.
Yeah.
Gallinari's going to shoot.
Gallo.
He's going to shoot the lights out of the ball.
How do we
all
not
game long.
mention the professional bucket getter?
Oh yeah, we gotta give a shout out to Lou Will because he definitely
Lou Will.
an
Oh
impact.
man, my
Facts.
boy got 2 girls.
He's a main reason why they came back as well.
Lou Will has been balling, but he does this against the Warriors every time he plays.
Yep.
But
I think they're one of those teams that they're always going to play up to their competition. But then I think the Warriors are always that team that's going to play down to their competition too.
yeah,
The Warriors I feel like are always like notorious for that. They're going to play to the level of their competition. When
Also,
they need to turn it on, they will.
what hurts is our bench is completely trashed this year.
No depth.
Yeah, absolutely no depth. Like past Andre Iguodala, who's kind of getting up there in
He's
age.
been playing good though.
Yeah, but he's up there in age. We don't have anybody else we could really.
Last year,
depend
you
on.
guys in the playoffs relied heavily on Pat McCaw too. You guys don't have him anymore,
We have Pat. We're leaning on Looney this year,
which is
who- He's got-
that's not a guy you want to lean on.
No, definitely not.
And Clay has been non-existent.
Yeah.
Well, leading up to the playoffs, the last
Yeah.
month or two, he has not been playing good.
But I'm not worried about Clay. Clay's that type of guy. Once he sees the ball go into the bucket, he'll
He'll flip a light switch.
Yeah.
Okay,
and
so let me
he's
ask
done.
you guys a question. What is standing in the way of the Warriors three-peating this year?
Themselves.
Yeah.
themselves and not being able to focus.
And that Boogie injury, honestly, I think is going to come back to bite us.
Absolutely. I think that's so huge.
I think they still have a big chance to win. I think you guys are
yeah.
like you guys are. Boogie's great and all. He's a. Obviously, they don't have that really like that interior presence anymore, but the firepower they have on that team is still second to none in the league.
It is, but I think Boogie Cousins. So just to throw out some stats there, the Warriors are 23-7 this year when Boogie Cousins is in the lineup. They are 34-18 when he's not in the lineup. So that's a 76% win percentage when he's on the court and 65% winning when he's not.
I don't know. They can still win with that 65%.
They could, but in the playoffs, everybody else raises the intensity, their level. I think it does hurt them. Everybody, like from what I'm seeing, everybody's like, "Oh, it's actually working towards their benefit. This is what they're used to. They're gonna get back to small ball." I disagree.
Yeah,
I think that small ball stuff, Draymond, even though Draymond's playing good right now,
he's not himself this year.
he's not the same Draymond that they leaned on to play that small ball lineup.
Yeah, they can't go back to that same small ball like you're saying that they had, a couple years ago. But let me ask you this: so that defeat that they just had to the Clippers, is that more of a blueprint for other teams to use, or is that more like a
No.
Well, there was no blueprint in that win.
No, that was just a lapse of concentration. They stopped playing defense altogether. They
Right,
checked
but is
out
that
of the
something
game.
that other teams can maybe highlight on it, like, hey, look,
How?
maybe they're not perfect. We can actually go ahead and jump on them because they're
No, because it wasn't like they beat them throughout the game. It was like we said, the Warriors just losing
And it's not
concentration.
like they went into it with a strategy. They literally just got into their heads initially, and then
They shit the bed.
yeah,
Lou Will went off. They couldn't stop him.
no, they stopped playing defense. I think that's more of a Warriors loss than it is a Clippers win.
I blame a lot of it on Steph Curry.
I disagree.
Bro,
It's not
Steph Curry.
No, listen,
He is too loose with the ball. He's
That's-
shimmying. He's throwing the ball away. So many turnovers.
I think it's partly Steph's fault for a different reason. I feel like if you're a leader on a team, Steph and KD, you don't allow your team to become unfocused at any point.
You don't, and they're the two who are the most unfocused throughout
Yes.
that whole lapse.
Yes,
Yeah.
without a doubt.
Absolutely.
I couldn't have said
if
it
you
better.
watch how Steph played, it's like he didn't care what he was doing with the rock.
No.
There was a couple turnovers that led to 10-2 runs.
Don't let it fool
11-2
you.
runs.
Steph Curry is probably one of the most cocky players in the
Cockiest
league.
player ever.
Yes. So
Ever,
he's gonna,
bro.
and you see Doug getting uncomfortable in his seat right there. He's getting mad.
What do you have to say about that, Doug?
No, he's cocky. That's why they call him the baby-faced assassin.
Yeah, so you can tell he goes out there. He knows he's going to try to carve up the defense, and when he has a lead, he's going to be like, I'm chilling.
But I disagree. I don't think it's his fault they lost that game.
I think as a leader,
As a leader,
it is your fault.
I put the blame more on Kevin Durant and on Steve Kerr.
why
Why?
Kevin Durant?
Just because Kevin Durant hasn't been performing to his standards. Like, we need him to get a big bucket, and he can't
Okay.
get the bucket.
But the lack of concentration is what cost the loss, not Kevin Durant not being able to score that game.
Which is why I blame Steve Kerr for that.
Well, I agree too. I think the coach is partly
Definitely Steve Kerr as well, but
because you can't
I put a lot
allow
on
your
Steph.
team to not stop playing
You're
defense.
just a Steph hater. It's all good.
The other game, the other series I want to talk about. What's going on with OKC?
Damian
They're playing
Lillard,
like OKC
Damian Lillard
and Dame Lillard.
You get
And
swept
asking
so
for respect.
Paul George possibly being severely hurt.
And to answer Nando's question from earlier, I think OKC is the biggest underperforming team currently in the playoffs.
Absolutely.
I think they were primed to make a deep run. You had Paul George, who was having an absolute like lights out season. I think now the way they're playing in the playoffs now kind of negates any argument for an MVP for him.
Absolutely, I agree because the cards actually fell in their favor, where they didn't have to go through the Rockets or Golden State
Exactly.
until the championship game of the Western Conference.
They had the roadmap to the finals,
Yeah.
and right now they're not performing.
I don't
well.
think it's entirely their fault because there have been reports and rumors going around about Paul George possibly having a torn rotator.
He is hurt. You can
Yeah.
see it.
There's
He's hurt.
reports saying that he couldn't even lift his arm after game one, above his head.
And
So,
before game one, he hasn't taken a shot before his last couple games.
yeah, so I think that's definitely an issue. If he's hurt and can't play,
They're done.
they're done. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they
They
rely
go
on
as
him
far as Paul George goes, not Russell Westbrook.
Yes, 100%.
Do you think Do you think it's a little too late for them to maybe come back, or do you think it's
No,
No.
I don't think a team like that is ever out of it. But I think it's highly unlikely, especially with Paul George potentially being injured. You know what I mean? Who knows what that injury is, like the actual details and how long he's been dealing with that. But I just think that's too big of a mountain to climb. And I feel like Portland's playing very good basketball.
Dame Lillard.
Dame and CJ. CJ was cooking.
Yes. And you guys know I'm not really a big CJ fan.
CJ's that type of guy. He could either get you 12 points or he explodes for 50.
CJ
Yeah.
cooks.
No.
When CJ is in his kitchen, bro.
And Dame's another guy, and I say this all the time. Dame's the most underrated NBA player. I feel like he deserves to be a superstar. He has that kind of talent, and he just
You gotta
doesn't
love
get
Dame.
the. He's
Hey, and
awesome.
a quick little shout out there to Ian Cantor for filling in the gap after Nurkic got hurt. He's
Fuck
actually-
Kanter.
No, Cantor's been playing really well for them too, man. I think that's a big piece for them.
Yeah.
I think he's taking this series up maybe a little personal because he is playing his former team, OKC. Maybe a little fire underneath him.
For sure. I mean, who wouldn't try to elevate their game a little bit against a former team?
Yeah.
Going back to Boogie, so we talked about how that's going to impact the Warriors' playoff chances. I want to know what you guys think that's going to mean for him in terms of his free agency.
He's going to be back with the Warriors next year.
I think so too.
You think so?
Yeah. That's what that means.
I can't see him staying with the Warriors, man. Especially if KD leaves. Oh man.
So the Warriors could offer him about $7 million next year to play. If you look at all the other teams in free agency, what other team would pay? Probably looking closer to 10, 12 mil for him to leave. The only other team I see would possibly be the Lakers. They don't get a big name player.
If they miss out on AD.
Yeah, or next year would be Kyrie, Clay, or Jimmy Butler, even like players like that.
You got to think the Lakers are going to get somebody.
Yeah, they're gonna push the issue.
People have been saying that for a while.
They might even overpay if they have to.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I think Boogie might be in the cards there.
But I
don't
think
see
there's
any
plenty
other
of
team.
teams that would be willing to overpay for him.
I don't think so with two major injuries like
Yeah.
this, especially so close.
And you also got to count if he wants to play there.
So let's say, just not talking about the injury, right? Let's say the injury never happened. Where do you think he fits in the most if he's healthy? And it's
Anywhere
his
he
win.
wants.
Yeah.
He's the best center when healthy.
I don't know. Andre Drummond is.
No,
Drummond
not at
and,
all.
And
Not at
Joel Embiid. Those are guys.
Joel, you
Even
might have a
more of
case.
Joel has a case, but offensively, Boogie's Cousins' Arsenal is just superior to both of
Offensively,
them.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think what I would love to see, I feel like if he were to ever team up with Giannis, if he were to go to like Milwaukee, I feel like that'd probably be the most dangerous team.
Yeah.
That'll be nice.
And
That'd be
I
nice.
feel like they're itching for that kind of player too. You know what I mean?
Even though you got to think about it though, Giannis likes to get into the paint, so Boogie he'd have to become more of like a stretch five.
But that's okay because
That's what he's doing now.
Yeah, Boogie can stretch the floor. Exactly, he's doing that now with the Warriors. He can pop a couple. I don't know. I think with his injury, how much do you think he gets signed for?
I think for him to leave Golden State, I think he's going to get the 7 mil. Like Golden State's going to offer that regardless. But for him to leave Golden State, I think you'll have to look at 12 mil range for him to actually go.
So besides the Lakers, do you think there's anybody else?
I don't think any other relevant team that's able to compete could offer him that much.
So let's say the Warriors win a championship this year, right? And Boogie gets a ring, even without having to like play in the playoffs. Do you think he just takes bigger money somewhere else just for the money? Because he's like, oh, screw
But
it,
the
I
thing
already
is,
got a ring.
are they going to offer him?
Yeah,
bigger
I don't
money?
think
That's
he's
the
going to get a
thing.
big offer.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be some teams out there that are still going to try to overpay for him because they're
You could have
desperate
said
for a
that
big name.
last year with the Pelicans after he got hurt.
I still think it's going to happen. I still think there's a high potential. Remember, have they ruled out surgery?
No, not officially yet.
Okay, well, I know it's heavily rumored that he might not need surgery. So if he doesn't need surgery, I think that helps his case.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he goes back to the Sacramento Kings and help Luke Walton get his reputation back.
Nah, I don't think so. I don't think there's any chance of Boogie ever going back there.
Yeah.
But
I think they burned that bridge.
speaking of Luke Walton, what do you guys think of that signing?
Good hire.
Yeah,
For
I agree.
Luke, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, good hire.
To be honest with you, I don't know. I don't have I don't know either way. Like I don't know how I feel about it.
Look, I've been very defensive for Luke Walton. This whole blame he's been getting for the Lakers.
Yeah, I know.
I've been on his side, defending him, saying it's mostly the GM's fault. I still think he's a good coach. I don't think the Kings should have fired Yeager. I think he's also a really good coach. But if you were going to replace him, I think Walton's a good replacement.
Do you think Walton's a better coach than Yeager?
No, not X's and O's, but I think Walton's going to be more of a player's coach, which he's been praised for in LA. Like, all the players are really for him.
I guess, yeah. And I guess that's better for a younger team.
Yeah.
You know, that the NBA is kind of moving more towards the player coach, mentality.
And the Kings wanted a coach like that would be more hands-on towards the players and not as demanding of more demanding of the GM as far as getting certain players there that Yeager was.
Well, Luke Walton has a pretty good relationship with the Kings GM Vlad Divac, so I mean I think it's good for Luke, and I think it's gonna mesh well, but I don't see it making a huge impact on the Kings altogether.
I don't think so either.
This takes them to the next level at all.
I don't have an opinion on Luke Walton as a coach because in Golden State, you can't really count that towards his resume because I could have stayed there and got a championship myself. And in LA, it didn't work out. So
but I don't know like Doug said, I don't think it didn't work out in LA, but it wasn't his fault. So I feel like
exactly, and that's why I don't have an opinion because in both scenarios,
you've never really gotten a chance to really see his full capabilities as a coach, what he can do with the team from the ground up. And I think this will be a good opportunity for him to show
that's why I think it's a good signing for both.
Yeah, he's got a few good young weapons to kind of build around.
So I don't want to say it's a good signing, but I think it's good opportunity potentially for both. I think it has opportunity to go either way.
Honestly, I think give Walton 2 years and they're a playoff team.
That says a lot in the West.
Yeah,
the West is loaded.
I'm not saying a top 4 seed, but I think a playoff team,
7-8 seed.
Yeah,
with a few pieces moved around.
Yeah, I think they can probably bounce Golden State out of an 8 seed or some shit. I don't know.
I like what they have in Marvin Bagley, Durant Fox. I feel like Willie Cauley-Stein had a pretty solid season. I think he's been pretty quiet.
I think he regressed. Up and down.
Yeah, I think he
so
regressed.
Up and down.
No, I feel like he improved from last year. Buddy Hield. He's a guy that's improved significantly.
Yeah.
He's probably one of my. Yeah, I feel like they got so many good guys on that team, and it's just a matter of time before they all put it together. I think they're one solid, really good
draft pick
away from
a Zion. They're a Zion away.
Speaking of that, so Zion officially declared for the draft. We know he was on the fence. What do you guys think? Do you feel like he's ready?
From what I've heard, I think he's ready to go in the NBA, but I don't think he's ready to become successul.
Yeah, I think he's physically ready.
Yeah.
I don't think he's mentally there. But yeah, I think you can say that with a lot of young guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think you could probably say that with 3/4 of the guys that do make it to the NBA, especially all the
that's the thing,
guys.
Especially the one and done guys.
Yeah. So I just want to go over who you guys see being the top 5 picks. Keep in mind the draft lottery isn't set yet, but right now it looks like Cleveland, New York, and Phoenix all have equal chances of getting the top pick.
So my top 5 right now is going to be Zion, of course, 1. 2 and 3, it's really a coin toss. You can put
coin toss. I think it has to be a definitive. You have to take Ja Morant 2.
I think depends on what team gets number 2.
Yeah.
It could be R.J. Barrett or Ja Morant.
So let's say.
I think RJ's a little bit more NBA ready.
So let's say Cleveland gets number 2 pick. Who do you think they take?
I think they take because they already got Sexton.
But I
think they go Morant.
I think they go Morant too. I think
they need an explosive player like that.
And in a league that's so guard heavy right now, I think that's a great combo.
Yeah. So for the sake of the top 5, you can go Ja Morant, then RJ Barrett, and then I got Jarrett Culver, and then DeAndre Hunter. That's my top 5.
So my thing is, I think Jarrett Culver underperformed a little bit in the tournament with Texas Tech.
Yeah, but I think you got to look at his full body of work, and that guy is a player. So that's why I would take him.
I don't know. I see a lot of people saying that at 4, the guard from UNC, Kobe White should be going there. What do you think?
Kobe White's great. I think he's a top 10 pick. On my draft board, I have him around 7th or 8th. But
Same. But
Yeah.
I know his draft stock's been on the rise a little bit lately.
For me, he's like right in that like 4, 5, 6, 7 range.
It depends.
he's
Depends.
really good. The guy can play, man.
Which I think it's funny because I feel like Cam Reddish was in that same.
Ooh.
Cam Reddish
Talk
hurt his
about
stock
losing
so
draft
much.
stock.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think he's still be gonna be a lottery pick, but I think Cam Reddish falls maybe like 9 to
10.
11.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Depending on who wants him bad enough. Now, I want to go by each team, right? So if you're Phoenix and you get the number 1 pick, do you take Zion?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
If I'm any team, I have to take Zion. Because even if you don't want him, he's a trade asset.
Yeah,
He's the best
honestly,
trade asset in the market.
I think the best fit for the Suns would be an RJ Barrett.
I
As
think
far
so.
as
I think so,
player,
too.
Yeah.
I think him along with Devin Booker, I feel like it would be an
Nasty.
absolutely gross combo. I feel like they would
I
play
feel
so well
bad for
together.
D-Book, man. D-Book deserves something better than Phoenix.
For real.
He plays
I
no
love
defense though.
But
He
you
likes
hear what he
playing
said.
there.
He wants to stay there.
Bro, D-Book drops 60 whenever he wants.
This is what Phoenix does, bro. Phoenix just lets him shoot as much as he wants and tells him, bro, you don't have to worry about defense.
Bring back-
That's what they do.
Bro, bring back D'Antoni. Phoenix will be the best team in the league again.
Chill. D'Antoni is actually a good fit for the new NBA. So
Bro, he revolutionized the offense
Yeah.
in Phoenix, bro.
Well, I think in the NBA in general, like
Yeah.
D'Antoni's like just offensive mind was. I think he was before his time.
Yeah, he was a step above everyone.
I'm gonna tell you right now, as a Knicks fan, if we get the number 1 pick, I know we're gonna have to take Zion, just because I know the Knicks want to go after I almost said Kevin Garnett.
low key, he might be going there. They're trying to sign him.
The Knicks might try to pull some
The big
stupid shit like
ticket.
that. I think they're gonna try to go after Kevin Durant, and they're gonna go after Kyrie. So they're not gonna really. It doesn't make sense for them to take Ja Morant, even though that's the guy that I want them to take. So I know they're gonna take Zion. And listen, if it pans out that way and they get all 3 of those guys, I feel like that becomes an instant.
I'm gonna make a
Team
prediction
to-
right here. I think the Knicks strike out on both KD and Kyrie, and they're gonna sign Jimmy Butler.
I knew you were gonna say
Watch that. Watch
that.
that.
I
Wow,
knew you
that's
were
a
gonna
hot take right there, Doug.
It's not really all that hot of a take because everyone's saying it.
Not everybody's saying that.
Jimmy Butler, I feel like is a good scorer. He's an all around good player, but he's not going to be worth the money that he's going to end up signing for.
Facts, but I think the Knicks are trying to make a splash.
Yeah, but sometimes it's not good to make a splash just for the sake of
The
making a
Knicks
splash.
always make a splash.
Tell
But
your
in the
owner
kids'
that.
pool.
Chill. That one. Never mind. I was about to prove you right. I was going to say the year that we signed Amari.
In the kids' pool.
Yeah, that was straight into the kids' pool. Chill. That ended up being a pretty good signing for the Knicks.
Yeah, trying to make the
For
trash.
2 to 3 years before he got hurt.
Yeah,
Stoudemire was, I think, the best power forward in the league for a good 3 to 4 years.
Yeah, well, I mean, with Phoenix, he was the most he was
Dominant.
Crazy dominant.
My gosh.
Yeah, I think for me, I think my top 5 it's gonna end up being Zion, even though I don't want him to go first. I feel like he's a little overrated. I think Ja Morant has to be the number 2, regardless of what team is there. RJ Barrett's gonna go 3, even though I feel like he didn't really help his draft stock this year. I feel like he didn't do enough. Although
I disagree. I think he just got overshadowed by Zion's amazing year. But I think RJ Barrett played
I
pretty
think
solid.
Cam Reddish got overshadowed by the most out of anybody on that team. If anybody's getting overshadowed, it's Cam Reddish. I don't feel like he ever got a chance to really.
He did, but when he did get his shot, he shrank.
He did.
He fell short in the tournament.
When they needed him, where they needed shooting.
Yeah, he couldn't
pull
come through. I think I have DeAndre Hunter probably going 4. I like him over Jarrett Culver, but then I have Jarrett Culver going 5. That's what I would pick.
What do you guys feel about the point guard from Vanderbilt, Darius Garland?
He's solid.
But he had that knee injury.
Yeah, and he's still going to be a lottery pick. I think he's in the same boat as Cam Reddish. I think I see him maybe at like 11 or 12.
I still see him on top 10. I see him close to like
7, 8.
Yeah, 7, 8, 9.
Him
I have
and
a feeling
Cam
like
around the same
I have a
area.
feeling like he's one of those guys that he'll end up dropping a couple picks.
Well, then the team's gonna snap. Well, the Lakers there at number 11, so
He could be a steal for somebody.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what's going to end up happening. He's a great player. I don't see him being a top guy. I feel like in that 6 to 8 spot really the highlight of the draft is going to be whoever gets Kobe.
Kobe White.
Kobe White. Sorry, I forgot his last name. Kobe White is going to be the kind of the shining moment of that section of the draft.
Yeah. But you know who's the top guy? Russell Wilson. The top guy in the NFL.
Yeah, with his new contract.
Mm-hmm. Money.
Do you think that's good or bad for either the Seahawks or Russell
Great
Wilson?
for Russell Wilson.
Yep.
I disagree.
The Seahawks, I don't think it's necessarily bad because you have one of the better quarterbacks in the league and you secured him for a long time. I think it's super win on Russ, good win on the Seahawks.
I think it's a great win for the Seahawks because you lock up a top tier quarterback, right? Now you keep fans in the seats, right? Because they really have much else going on for them right now.
The Legion of who?
Yeah, they're all gone.
Yeah,
their entire defense is gone.
Bobby Wagner.
Okay,
Shout out to Bobby.
Bobby wasn't part of the Legion of Boom.
He was
a linebacker. The Legion of Boom was more the secondary.
The defense. The defense was the Legion of Boom.
The hard hitting defenders. So like I would say the middle linebackers and the
Bobby
safeties,
Wagner, Thomas, Chancellor.
Yeah. But
I mean, Cam. Oh, my bad. I heard something different.
You're bad. You're
good.
bad.
Yeah, they only got Bobby Wagner left. I think that's a great signing for the Seahawks, right? Because it still helps them, sell merch and stuff like that. And then I think it's good for Russ in the sense of securing the bag and getting that money.
Absolutely. In the NFL, you gotta secure the bag,
of course, and get that guaranteed money.
Yeah.
But I think it's bad for him because I don't foresee them winning in the near future. So I think he's just going to end up being one of those guys that gets stuck there for the money, and we're never going to see him win a ring again.
I disagree because the NFL is so volatile. One year a team could be great, the next team they could be horrible.
Yeah, but the Seahawks need a lot of work, bro.
Why do you say that? They made the playoffs the last 2 years. I think there are a couple maybe explosive pieces on offense away from being a good contender again. I see them possibly being in the playoffs again.
You can still win with your quarterback getting paid like that. Like the Saints are a great example of that.
Yeah, but
you got to build through the draft.
Yeah, they're going to have to build through the draft. And I feel like in last year's draft, I feel like they didn't draft well.
Who'd they take?
They took Penny in the first round. Rashard Penny, and I feel like he underperformed.
Wasn't Carson who became the number one?
Chris Carson ended up being their most effective back. And then I feel like they've just lost too many pieces on defense, and it's going to take a little bit. If they are going to become a winner again, I think it's going to take them at least 3 to 4 seasons.
Maybe, but I can't say that he won't ever win a ring again.
Yeah, I think it might take a little less. Not only that, but you still have a winning mentality there. Pete Carroll there.
Yeah, Pete Carroll's big
coach. It's not like it's an.
But that can only take you so far without the talent. I mean, they don't really have much of a run game.
No, disagree. They had the best run game actually last year in the NFL. They were the top running game.
Let me rephrase that.
Because Russ runs the ball better than half the running backs.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean.
But Carson was really effective last year, bro. Towards the last 6 games of the season, it was a good.
But who knows if that's an aberration or if that's the real thing.
But what I think is, instead of needing those explosive players, I think you're looking at the wrong aspect. I think what they need to build on is their offensive line. They're one of the worst pass offensive lines in the league. Their run game was really heavy run. That's why they're number 1 rushing attack, and with Wilson too. So I think they have to build through that O-line.
Maybe
to really become competitive.
O-lineman, and then I think a number 1 wideout. Give Russ a wideout.
I just think in that division, you're gonna have the 49ers, who I think are gonna be solid this year.
I think they'll be good. I think it's the most competitive division in the NFL.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be pretty competitive.
Because I think the 49ers I'm sorry, never mind.
I feel like
because the Cardinals are so trash.
Yeah, I feel like you're going to see
the top 3. I see the Seahawks, 49ers, and the Rams fighting it out all year.
Yeah.
I think the better division, or not the better, I think the more interesting division to watch this season is going to be seeing the fight with the Ravens and the Browns.
And even the Steelers. I think a lot of people are counting out the Steelers. I think they make the playoffs this year. I really do.
Tough division for sure.
I think James Conner is gonna. I think James Conner is gonna ball. I really do.
We'll see. We'll see how effective Big Ben is this season. Another guy that I want to talk about heavily, Kyler Murray, right? So everyone wants to talk about if the Cardinals are going to take him and all that. What I want to talk about is if him going to the NFL was a good decision. So for anyone that doesn't know, it was reported, I think I've read it on like Bleacher Report, that he was set to receive $14 million additional if he would have signed with the Athletics.
On top of the $5 million.
On top of the $5 million that they already gave him. Also, they would have guaranteed him a spot on the 40-man roster. So that he wouldn't have made the majors immediately because that's
probably
only
gone to
25
AAA, yeah.
He would have probably gone to like
No,
maybe
it was a big league spot.
No.
I'm pretty sure.
No, 40-man roster.
Yeah, it was the 40-man
40-man?
roster.
I thought it was a
So
big league spot.
they would have probably started him out in AA, probably moved him up to AAA, but he definitely would have seen time in September for September call-ups.
Yeah.
So with that knowledge now, do you guys think it was still smart for him to go to the NFL?
Absolutely.
I think not.
Why?
Why is that?
Well, with what we know nowadays about concussions and injuries, I think I would have rather played baseball. A lot less likely to get injured. You still might, as a pitcher, might blow out your arm.
But he wouldn't have been a pitcher. He would have been an outfielder.
Yeah, but you don't really see a lot of injuries in baseball that are severe like you
I think
do
you're
in the NFL.
you have more of an opportunity if you're at one of those premier guys in baseball to get paid more and have a longer career. But I think he's further away from being one of those premier guys in baseball than he is of being one of those premier guys in football.
His mindset is different. Yeah.
Exactly. He loves football, and you got to follow your heart.
100%.
He's not following the money. He's following his heart. That's why he made the best decision.
Yeah.
He's going to go play football. He just won the most prestigious award you can win in college football, and that's the Heisman. That's enough confidence to give this young man, like, hey, I can compete at the highest level. And I think if, like you said, he's closer to being great in the NFL than he is in MLB. And if he is, that contract will come. The money will come.
But
so
you do have a longer lifespan as a player in baseball than you do in football.
If you are a top tier player, if you get to that echelon of players, then yes. But if you're not, and you're a career minor leaguer,
so
not only are you going nowhere, but you're not making any money because everyone knows that being a minor leaguer is absolutely terrible. And also keep in mind that although he was a decent, baseball player, he still had a lot of holes in his swing. So if you go back and look at his tape, he has a very big swing, and he has the power, and he's athletic, so he plays center field well. But he doesn't profile as a center fielder in the future. He'll more of a corner outfield guy. And for those guys, as a corner outfielder, you have to have a big bat. You have to be able to be a consistent big bat, not only just in terms of power, but average as well. And I don't think he would have profiled as that kind of player.
I think if he went to the MLB, he would have been forgotten in about 3 to 4 years. Where versus,
I think he would get his cup of tea, but I think he maybe has like a 7-year max career.
No, I'm not saying his career is 3 years. I think we would forget about the whole Kyler Murray story in about 3 years if he was in MLB.
I just think there's so much of an upside, playing in the NFL, especially because that's where he wants to be. And you can,
it's different. Running out the tunnel, having the crowd cheering your name, you're the guy to lead the franchise back. I think you'd rather have that. I would rather play in the NFL than in the MLB.
Not only that, but it may be too little bit. He's built at 5'10". He was around 200 pounds, so he's not your typical QB. So
he's gonna be exciting and something different.
Pretty high for him. For me, that'd be wow. I want to prove people wrong. I want to prove my legacy here too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So speaking of Kyler Murray, dear God, I don't know what's wrong with me today. I'm butchering all the names.
You are.
Speaking of Kyler Murray going into the draft, right? So I think we all came to a group consensus that he's probably going to be the number 1 pick, right? Where do you guys think the picks lie after that?
As a Niners fan who has a second pick, I'm praying that Kyler Murray doesn't get picked first, because then that second pick is going to be worth a lot. And I think there's going to be a team out there possibly the Dolphins, possibly even the Raiders, Redskins. Giants? Yeah, Giants, who could give up a boatload of picks to move up to that second spot. But as a Niners fan, I want Kyler Murray to drop. If he doesn't, then I'm going to go with Nick Bosa, the best defensive lineman.
You think if they trade that pick, let's say if they do have the opportunity to draft Kyler Murray,
yeah,
and let's say Nick Bosa goes 1 to Arizona,
yeah,
What do you think they get like in return for that pick?
What I'll be looking at is that Robert Griffin trade that happened a couple of years ago.
But why? I feel like that burned the Redskins so poorly that I don't think another team does that ever again.
But if there's a team out there who's desperate enough to grab that number one franchise quarterback who thinks could change their franchise around, I think they'll do it. Which was they gave up 3 first-round picks and a second.
Teams will do it. Look at Chicago trading 1 pick up.
Yeah.
To get Trubisky. Who's a good quarterback.
Yeah.
He's good, but I was still like...
They gave up a third and fourth round pick just to move up one spot.
Because the 49ers weren't going after him.
No, yeah.
That's horrible scouting.
That's terrible.
No, the Niners punked them saying that other teams were trying to trade up, so they got them to trade up. But at minimum, I'll be looking at 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks. If they're doing a trade, at minimum.
I think that'd be a good return. Now, I think if you're a team looking for a edge rusher, this is your year.
Yeah. Which is what I'm okay with if we don't. Still like Nick Bosa. Josh Allen's out there.
The boy from Bama.
Millions. Yeah. A lot of good defensive linemen out there.
Yeah. Come to Dallas, please.
Montez.
Oh, yeah, Montrezl Sweat.
Yeah, but Montrezl Sweat's falling. You know, according to a lot of like mock drafts, I think he's going to end up being like a mid-first rounder versus being a top guy. But I think he's good. Being a really effective like player in the NFL. So I want to talk about the quarterbacks that we have in this draft because I feel like right now in this draft it's literally just going to be edge rushers and quarterbacks. So those are the top names floating around. You got a couple offensive linemen in there like Durant Taylor, which that's the guy I hope the Knicks, not the Knicks, the Giants. Jesus Christ,
the Knicks might draft him. You never know.
Might play their center.
Man, I am out of it today. No, I think that's the guy that I want the Giants to take. I feel like if we're going to stick with Eli, then we need to bolster that offensive line.
Draft Hoskins out of...
I hope to God not.
Ohio State, right?
Ohio State. Why not?
I feel like, first of all, when has any Ohio State quarterback ever come out and been effective?
I mean, Terrell Pryor was a great wide receiver for the Browns.
Yo, shut up.
I was about to say Terrell, too.
He was a great wide receiver for the Browns.
Granted, I don't think Haskins... profiles like a lot of those other quarterbacks that came out, but I still don't think he ends up being an effective NFL player. I feel like Drew Lock. Yeah. I like Drew Lock a lot.
Who the Broncos love.
If the Broncos don't end up with Drew Lock, I feel like that's a failure for the Broncos.
They will. Elway is a quarterback guy.
Oh, and he wants him.
That's a team that could possibly trade up if another team's threatening. So,
but do you think another team before them does threaten to take Drew Lock?
I don't know. There might be teams trying to jump back in front of them because they got the 10th pick right now. Dolphins are right outside. Redskins right outside both who need quarterbacks. So we'll see.
Look, if you're the New York Giants, do not draft a QB. Tank, and get Tua. That is who you want.
I agree.
I agree with that.
I agree.
That is who you want.
This is not the year to tank for a quarterback.
And remember, the Giants have 2 first-round picks. They have one at 6 and then one at 17. This is the perfect year to take an offensive lineman early with Jawan Taylor, and then later in the draft pick up a defensive guy like Montrezl Sweat. I would love that. I feel like that's perfect scenario for the Giants. It might not be the sexy picks that everyone wants to see them to take a quarterback, but I think it sets them up better for the future.
Absolutely. Whoever gets Tua next year is set. I'm telling you.
The last quarterback that I want to talk about is Daniel Jones, right? Out of Duke. A lot of people are saying that he might edge up to be like a mid-first rounder. I don't think that it's smart to take that guy in the first round. At all.
Yeah.
You don't take anybody from Duke. Ever. When it comes to football.
I think that if you are going to draft him in the first round, he needs to be a late first rounder. I don't believe in him whatsoever. And right now, I think what's going to end up happening is a team like the Redskins or the Dolphins are going to run out of QBs early, and they're going to be like, oh, well, you know what? We got to take a QB. This is who we end up taking. Which in reality, I don't think that's the right way to draft.
Yeah, no, I think he's
my bad. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think he's a second round talent, but I think he'll still go in the first round because as you saw last year with Lamar Jackson, there's a team that's going to be trading up in the first.
Yeah, don't ever compare him to Lamar Jackson.
I'm just saying what happened last year.
Yeah. I don't think he's a guy that I believe in heavily. The other guy that I want to talk about, there's a very shallow draft for wide receivers. DK Metcalf
That boy,
is a freak of nature.
he could be in the WWE right now if he wanted to.
He's a freak, dude. He's a physical specimen. He's the ideal. Like if you took like a 14-year-old kid and was like, just think about your prototypical, like what an NFL player looks like, or just go make like a created player.
So
He
what
is
you
a
want to
creative
do is
player.
make the opposite of Fernando. That's what you want to do.
You know who DK Metcalf reminds me of? You guys remember Sean Oakman?
Oakman?
From
Oregon?
Oakman.
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
from
yeah.
Baylor.
Oh no, yeah, from Baylor. Sorry.
That guy was chiseled.
He was
bro.
another guy. Whatever happened to him?
Well, he actually got caught with a rape allegation where it turned out that the girl lied, and that kind of ruined his career.
Oh yeah, I remember reading that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's unfortunate because I feel
Very
like
unfortunate.
he was going to be a solid guy. Now Metcalf, where do you think he falls into the first round?
He's going to be the first wide receiver taken.
Really?
In my if I was a team, I would take him first. But I think actually Ridley's probably going to go first for wide receivers. But I would take Metcalf, and looking at the teams that need him,
I think the team that we already talked about, the Seahawks. I feel like they're in
Late first round.
I think they pick what, like 20?
It's shot for him.
20
Really?
or 21. I think they need an offensive weapon.
yeah.
They need a wide receiver. I feel like that's a good spot for them to take a guy like that.
You think so?
I don't think he profiles well in that offense.
Yeah, I don't think he does good in that offense because they have their possession wide receiver in Doug Baldwin.
Yeah,
No.
I don't think he profiles well into that offense, but I think that is a guy that they still take a chance on.
I think they need a guy like Calvin Ridley where he can.
Calvin Ridley.
Sorry, his brother. Whatever his brother's name.
Yeah.
Ridley.
Mhm.
That guy, Ridley.
The other Ridley.
The other Ridley. That guy, he can get off the ball quick. He can get separation. That's where I think the Seahawks need to go.
Riley Ridley.
Riley Ridley. There we go.
I don't know. Obviously, I think those are the two top guys in terms of wide receivers, but it's a.
Oh no, and then sorry, Brown from Oklahoma.
Marcus Brown,
yeah,
Marcus Brown. Yeah.
But I think it's really shallow draft for wide
Yeah.
receivers.
It's kind of funny. Marcus Brown's predicted to go to the Raiders, play with his cousin.
Fernando, as a Steelers fan, where do you think what they should target in this draft?
Well, first, I think we need a cornerback more than anything. Our defense is
Suspects.
Our defense needs to step up. So I think there was some guys. Was it Byron Murphy? I think from Washington was a pick that was projected.
I think that's a solid. That would be a solid pick for you guys.
Greedy Williams out of LSU. Also
That's a
good
guy
player.
I love. Greedy Williams.
Yeah.
I love the way he plays. I feel like he's one of those guys that has a high motor consistently.
I agree.
I feel like a lot of those LSU guys are bred like that, though. You know what I mean?
They
I feel
really
like,
are.
I feel like that's just the
if you
culture.
go down to like Patrick Peterson,
Yeah, those are all guys like, I mean, Odell and Jarvis, like those are all guys. that
Tyrann
are gonna-
Mathieu.
Yeah, man.
All of them but freaking Morris Claiborne. Cowboys. I'm pissed. He was good in college, though.
He was solid in college.
Hold on, talking about the Cowboys, though. We were talking about money, Russell Wilson. There's another guy who needs to get paid, and he's America's team quarterback.
I was trying to avoid talking about this. I hate talking about the freaking Cowboys.
yeah, me too.
Dak Prescott. What does he deserve to get paid?
Nothing. Let's move on.
That's when you need to play the air horn soundboard, Eli.
I got you, Dak.
He's gonna hit you with the bra. Watch. Okay.
He should owe the Cowboys money.
Damn, all right.
He has to pay to play on the team.
It's a tough crowd.
No, you know what? I feel like
I think he deserves to get paid about $30 million.
Jeez Louise.
what?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Why not?
Because I'm not stupid. That's why.
So if Derek Carr is getting about 28, Matthew Stafford's getting about 27, Dak Prescott's better than both.
So you just named two quarterbacks that are overpaid. Congrats.
Okay, but
This guy said $30 million. No way.
why not?
Bro.
Nobody's telling me why not. You're just making jokes. Give me a good reason.
I don't feel like he's.
You're talking about in Canadian currency, right?
No, in all seriousness, Dak is not a guy that I would hide. Like, I would pay that much money for because I don't feel like
to me, I think he's worth half, like 15 mil. I think that's a fair.
No. So disrespectful.
No, that's a little excessive.
Are you kidding me?
I think that's 20, what I would pay him.
22 mil.
Yeah, I agree with Nando. Like 22 mil. I don't think he deserves 30.
I think he's 25 to 30, and he's going to get it.
I think he's going to end up getting 25 to 30 because contracts are inflating so much. Yeah. But I don't think he deserves that money.
I absolutely do. Why not? He's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yo,
stop.
If they sign him to $30 million, I'll personally go down there and shake Jerry Jones' hand.
Okay, so
he's not going to want to shake hands with you. He's going to be like, who is this bum?
So let me tell you why Dak Prescott's one of the best quarterbacks in NFL.
Oh, my God.
He's going to give some advanced metrics, some QBR.
I'm about to kill you guys. And I want to see what you guys are going to say or what you have to say.
Okay.
So first, he has the most game-winning drives in the last 3 seasons. So since he started, he has the most game-winning drives. Okay?
Hold on. Before you continue, let's also factor in that in the last 3 seasons, he's had the best offensive line. Granted, last year they were hurt, but he's had the best offensive line. He's also had arguably one of the best running backs in the league. Continue.
Okay, so he has the most game-winning drives in the last 3 seasons. He has the highest completion percentage out of any quarterback to ever play in the NFL in their first 3 seasons. Let that sink in.
Let that sink in where he just throws his Zeke for half of those.
No, absolutely not. Watch the Cowboys play.
Listen, completion percentage is overrated.
No, it's not.
What's his yards per attempt?
Not necessarily, because Doug
we don't dump the ball to Zeke. We just started getting Zeke into the catching game out of the backfield last year. That's the first time we included Zeke. Zeke runs the ball. He's not considered a dual threat running back like Le'Veon. He's not known for that because we don't use him that way.
No, you guys don't. But I don't think completion percentage is the way to measure a quarterback's effectiveness.
Why not? That's accuracy. That's him throwing the ball, completing passes down the field.
Yeah, he's an accurate quarterback, but I feel like
take that into
so he averages for his career 7 yards per attempt.
Exactly.
That's not very far.
Okay, that's actually go look at a lot of quarterbacks and see where they're at. But I'm gonna keep on going.
I just don't. I don't give that to a guy that I feel like can't sling it. And I don't feel like Dak has the arm strength.
What? He has more than arm strength. He has way more than arm strength.
I gotta agree with Eli on this. I think
that guy is strong as shit.
And mobility.
So he's strong, right? But I don't think he has $30 million arm strength.
Absolutely, he does. In 3 seasons, he has 2 division titles. He has the second most.
Once again, that's more of a testament to his team than it is to him.
He is the leader of that team.
No, it isn't.
Yes, he is. What? You're not gonna tell me he is? Who's the leader of that team?
Zeke.
Absolutely not.
Zeke
is a distraction on the team. He's never been. He's not even known as a captain on the team. Dak is the captain of the team. Zeke is not even close to being the leader. And he has the second most wins in the NFL, only behind Tom Brady in the last 3 seasons.
That's a team stat.
That's a team stat.
Okay, but like I'm telling you, the quarterback gets most of the recognition because without quarterback play, you're nothing.
I'm not giving him.
You are nothing. You're saying that because you're a Giants fan.
I'm really being biased.
Bro,
I don't believe in Dak as much as you do. I'm sorry. I don't.
You're being very biased right now.
No, I'm not.
You have to be.
He's a good player. He's not $30 million worth.
Bro,
I'm sorry.
He is one of the best QBs, and he has been. He's a dual threat quarterback. He throws, he runs. He's known for not having too many interceptions. He leads one of the greatest teams.
I give Dak that. He's very low on his turnover rate.
So let's just pause real quick. If we're naming the top 5 quarterbacks in the league right now, are we naming Zeke?
No.
Are we naming Dak?
No.
No, we're not naming Zeke.
Are we naming Dak?
Dak's a top 10 QB in the league.
Okay. For me to give him $30 million, he needs to be top 5, and he's not top 5.
I agree with that.
No.
$30 million, he has to be top 5.
I give him top 10. I'll give him maybe probably top, 6, 7.
Yeah, he's 7 to 8 easily in the top 8.
I'm closer to 9, 10.
Easily, and the only reason why is because there's legends still playing like Tom Brady, Drew Brees,
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, well, I'm not big on Aaron Rodgers, but sure, Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
He is a top. I'm saying he's a top.
But I think him being the 7th best quarterback in the league doesn't warrant him getting $30 million. I think he's going to get it because of inflation. It's not just being the 7th best.
It's not just about where your position is as the best quarterback in the league, but his age, what he's done, what he's accomplished, and where he can lead this team.
Once again, I think that's more. First of all, the first season, I don't think you can even count his first season because
that's so disrespectful.
He leaned so heavily on the scheme of that offense. Because
You can say that about any quarterback. Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, they all have schemes around them that make them great. That's what makes quarterbacks great.
No, because
Unless you're
his whole first season and a half, maybe all teams did was load the box, make him throw the ball, and when they did that, he didn't look all that great.
Yes, he did. Absolutely did. He finished 4th in MVP. Come on, his first season, 4th in MVP, and won Rookie of the Year. You're not gonna tell me that.
I'm saying his offensive line helps him a lot. When you get 8 seconds to throw the ball, you're gonna look good.
Okay,
If you're NFL caliber.
Yeah,
I disagree.
He's not a $30 million player.
All right, well, you're gonna see him get $30 million.
Like I said, I think he's gonna get it because of
That's
inflation.
True. The market is pretty high now.
Everything he's done, he's deserved. There's nothing that where you could say like, well, Dak doesn't deserve this because this, and this. You're just saying, oh, his O-line is great. Okay, that's not his fault. They've also been really hurt the last 2 years. And he's still played really good. Zeke.
I think, like I said, I think that's more of a testament to having probably the best running back in the league.
The best running back who's also been in and out of our lineup the last 2 years.
I guess.
The only consistent thing about our team the last 3 years has been Dak Prescott.
But that's practically every team, man. Every team's quarterback's consistent.
No.
Consistently plays.
No, not at all.
At least, there's, the top, 20 teams in the league.
Okay, but how good are their quarterbacks and how good are those teams doing? Dak is being consistent and winning.
Like I said, I agree he's a good quarterback.
He's a top 7 QB.
He's
only going to get better.
But he's not worth $30 million.
Look, I'd rather pay Jimmy G, the Niners quarterback, $20 million to pay Dak Prescott $30 million.
How much did Jimmy G get paid? How much is he making?
He's making $20 million next year.
No, I think he's making a little bit more.
No, his contract was front loaded, so he made $37 million last year, and then he's making $20 for the remaining years.
That's another guy I feel like is overpaid.
We'll see.
He's a guy that I feel like was worth 15.
I think what the Niners. I think the Niners had to pay him because we needed a quarterback.
You guys reached.
So the thing about paying Jimmy G, we don't really know what he can do.
Exactly. That's why I say he's
at least you have a winning record.
I think that's why we front loaded a contract because we had a lot of cap space that year, and then
you paid him $37 million to do nothing last year. Congrats.
No, you won 2 games last year.
Yeah, congrats.
I mean, he got hurt, man. You can't really It's not like he got benched and they were paying him $37 million. You can't phrase that like that.
Well, we don't know.
Didn't work out in my eyes.
Dallas
didn't work out.
I mean, injuries happen though.
It does, but hey,
it's the NFL.
Exactly. It is what it is. $37 million for 2 wins. Good job, San Francisco.
That's the way we planned it.
Yeah.
That's so we could get the second pick. So we have a playoff team next year.
I'm the GM of a team. Let me pay $37 million for 2 wins. We planned that. Cool.
Yeah,
good story.
That's why we front loaded the contract. Well, let's go.
Yeah. So you're just proving why the 49ers are retarded as shit.
For front loading contract and getting a potential.
But you saying that they planned that. They planned
player.
2 wins for $37 million.
No, I'm saying they planned to front load the contract just in case.
Okay, yes, but still.
All
retarded.
Right, let's continue. I'd rather do that than pay $30 million, but whatever.
Yeah, I'm not.
I mean, you guys are all haters, so it doesn't even matter.
Why are you getting so offended?
Because I'm defending my team. I'm defending my team and my QB. I'm just letting you guys know. You guys laughed at his name, so you guys already disrespected him.
We didn't laugh at his name. We laughed at the fact that you said $30 million.
Evaluation.
Okay, so when he gets $30 million, I'm gonna laugh at all you guys.
Once again, I don't know if you're hearing me. What I'm telling you, he's gonna get the money because of the way the market is. Does he deserve that?
Not necessarily because he deserves it. Because he played into that contract.
So what I'm telling you is I don't think he deserves it. I think he's going to get the money regardless. But
I don't know why.
Don't
he's
think
beating the Giants every time he's played.
So that's cool.
Since we're talking about people deserving stuff, let's move on.
Okay, so I guess we'll transition to baseball then. Tim Anderson, he hit an absolute rope of a bomb. I think yesterday. Bat flipped the shit out of his bat. Admired it for maybe a solid 3-4 seconds. And then fully turns around, flips the shit out of his bat, runs the bases. Team goes up 2-0. Next at bat, he gets plumped. Right in the back. First question for you guys. Do you think bat flipping is good for baseball?
Absolutely. It's probably the best thing they have going on right now.
That's their celebration. NFL gets the NFL touchdown celebrations. You get the first down celebrations. Batters get the bat flip celebration.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like
different,
it makes the game more fun, and it draws the younger crowd in more because it's exciting. Everyone loves the long ball, and then you see the celebrations. Sometimes they're creative, sometimes they're like pretty funny. So it's like you get to see that, right? My next question is, when a guy bat flips like that and shows up the other team like that, do you think it's justified for him to wear one in the ribs or in the back?
It's
his
hard.
Next at bat?
It's so hard because
No,
if he gets hurt, then no.
Yeah, you shouldn't be throwing 100-mile-per-hour object at somebody.
It's so tough because if they get hurt, then no, it's not.
Y'all are soft. I think if you're willing,
No, you take 100-mile-per-hour fastball. Say it's
but you know what? Like, I'm not gonna show up the other team like that either. If I feel like that's a potential to happen.
Nah, I would charge the
disagree
shit
with
out of
that,
him.
yeah.
I would
Yeah.
beat the crap out of somebody.
I'm not saying I don't do that either, right? But as a fan, I understand why he gets plunked, and I think that is even better for baseball. People love controversy.
Yeah,
We're talking about it now.
like I said, I'm not saying it's bad because it's good for the entertainment of the sport, but when you look at the health and if somebody gets hurt, then it really becomes something.
When it becomes harmful to somebody, then it doesn't really become.
Yeah, because
okay.
bat flipping doesn't hurt anybody.
But the
Exactly.
percentage of hit by pitches that result in like really, really bad injuries is so little that
It is, and that's why
at least
I'm
like
not,
intentional beans. Like intentional beans usually, if you got a guy that can control his stuff, very rarely do you see like guys getting hit in the head. Like you see that maybe twice a season, right? But that's most of the time from like poor control.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. That's why it's iffy. I agree with the entertainment, and yeah, maybe they should, but I'm just saying there's a very fine line.
I have
if
no
that injury
problem
happens.
with pitchers throwing at guys. I have no problem whatsoever.
Jeez.
I don't know
I
because
strongly disagree.
Because
with
if
that.
I'm a hitter and I know somebody's intentionally throwing to me, I feel like they're intentionally trying to hurt me. If you're trying to intentionally hurt me, I have a problem with that.
And that's fine. You have all the you have 100% justification to feel like that. What I'm saying is that if we only look at that isolated incident, right, and just from the pitcher's point of view, right, he just got shown up on a bomb, right? You're extremely disrespectful in his eyes. He makes you wear one on the next at bat. Don't be surprised.
Bro, if you're a
No.
pitcher, I feel like the way to get back at that is to strike him
Strike
out.
them out.
Without a doubt.
And then do your own celebration.
Exactly. Bro, so people are backflipping after saves.
I was just about to say that. You saw the kid, I think,
Yeah.
in it was either the minors or the college,
It was in college.
and he got a save, and he backflipped right in front of the mound.
Yo, you see? I think that's the
That's
correct
showing off the
response.
batters.
I agree too, but you also have to understand that baseball has a way of like policing itself.
Bro,
I
it's
don't think it will never get away from intentionally hitting. That's just part of the game. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
It's been going on for so long. We won't get rid of it, but I'm saying,
Well, there's gonna be no way to get rid of
yeah,
it.
there's no way to get rid of it. I agree.
Oh, I disagree. There's a way to get rid of it.
How?
You got to deal out suspensions and fines.
I mean, people
Well,
do,
they do.
but
They
the only
do.
thing is, it's so hard to prove if it's intentional or not.
Yeah, that's the thing. But I'm
In
just
a
saying.
situation like this, it's very easy to see
Yeah.
that it was intentional. But you see, hit by batters that's going back from an incident like from 3 months ago and early in the season. Like, oh, this guy got me earlier in the season. This is my chance. I'm gonna hit him now. You have no way to prove
the
it.
Giants pitcher and Bryce Harper
Hunter Strickland and
Hunter
Bryce Harper.
Strickland.
Yeah.
He's
that
not our pitcher
rivalry
anymore,
went
but
back from
sure.
like
at the time.
Yeah.
that went back like a year or something like that.
They
from the
actually threw
previous
hands.
season. Yeah, they threw hands like
Yeah.
for real. I don't know. I just think that
I'm not against it. I'm not for it.
I'm perfectly okay with it.
I'm in the middle.
I'm perfectly okay with
So
it.
there's Eli again playing that fence.
The same way, call you Nando.
No,
Same
I'm
way.
against the throwing at the players.
Wow.
Why? I want to hear your reasoning.
Because one of them is, I guess, when you throw your bat, after you bomb one, and you homer one, that's, it's kind of showboating, I guess, in a sense. It's not harming anybody. But when you're intentionally throwing at somebody, like an actual baseball, bro, like that becomes a different level. Like that just, like Doug said, you can clearly make your point by striking them out, maybe just, throwing a sick, a pitch. But no, you don't need to hit nobody, bro.
I don't know.
That's
I'm okay with it. If a guy goes into second base and takes out my shortstop or my second baseman, and I feel like it's dirty, and I'm a pitcher, best believe next time I get a chance.
That's another thing.
I'm
that
letting
needs
him
to be
wear it.
taken out, but
Just going back to the whole
It's a
Tim
whole nother
Anderson thing,
subject.
I don't know if anybody peeped this, but it's so hilarious. So, yes, he pimps the bat, he gets hit, after he gets hit, he still pimps the bat. I don't know if anyone peeped that, but he pimps it and
That's the way to do it.
Stares him down. It's hilarious. You guys need to go look at that.
I saw that. I think Tim Anderson is one of those.
I love Tim Anderson.
You know what bothers me about it is that when you have guys like Tim Anderson who aren't really power hitters like that, so when he does get a hold of one, it makes the pitcher feel all that worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because honestly, it's week 3 of the MLB season. It was in the 5th inning when he hit the home run. It was like a 2-0 game. Like, yeah, you tied the game, but like...
No, that put them up 2-0.
I think...
That homer put them up 2-0.
It put them up?
Yeah, the game was tied at that point. But you're right. It's April.
Yeah, in the 5th, 6th inning, I'm like, what?
I don't care. If I feel like somebody's showing me up and being disrespectful, I'm going to come after them some way or another.
All right. Note to self, don't play baseball with Danny.
Oh no, you might get one. You might get one straight in the right, like in the back or the ribs. Like that's a perfect good place to get somebody.
That hurts.
Yeah, but it's a lot better than the head or the hands or even the elbow.
Bruh.
I don't know. I'm okay with it. I believe in the old school style of baseball of
and I'm okay with that just because I know tradition. Yeah, it is what it is.
So while we're on baseball, I want to talk about the latest power rankings, right? And I just want to break down each team one by one and see what you guys think, right? So right now, the Astros are at the top of the power rankings. Do you feel like they're the favorite right now to win the World Series and make a deep playoff run?
I don't like making predictions so early because so much can change over the course of the MLB season. But if we had to, I mean, I feel like they've been the favorites for the last 2 to 3 years, and they haven't really lost too many pieces. I think they've actually gained, right? They lost Marwin Gonzalez and got Brantley, so I feel like they actually won that.
They lost McCann.
Yeah, but who's catching for? Is Gaddis still catching, or
no,
is he
Chirinos, right?
Chirinos, okay,
yeah,
that's a pretty
He's
solid
pretty
catcher.
Come on, I feel like we talked about this 3 times.
He's a solid catcher.
Chirinos, he's not a solid catcher. He's average.
Okay, but they don't need a power hitting catcher. Their lineup is full of power hitting.
I just need a guy that's gonna hit his weight. If he can hit his weight and drive in a couple runs, then he's fine.
Put it this way, they won't lose because of him. We won't say, well, they're not winning because of this guy.
Well, I don't know. Chill. Being a catcher is very important for the pitching staff.
It is, and he's a good defensive catcher. Offensively, that's where you can be like, hey, maybe we can find something better, but they don't need that from their catcher position.
Yeah, I guess so. I still think that they have the best rotation in all of baseball, and I think they're the most primed to be.
I think they're the best overall built team.
Yes,
from pitching to
from
hitting,
top to bottom,
to
defense.
Yeah, I think they're the best all around
to speed.
Who's number 2 on the rankings?
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee.
Yeah.
That's another team that I feel like all top to bottom that lineup is just gross. You have
lineup's gross. Pitching staff isn't.
It's also gross.
Staff is, yeah.
Gosh.
Right now, their combined ERA is 6.1.
Yeah. Their pitching is terrible. And remember, a couple weeks ago, we even said it. That's one of those teams where if they get their pitching in order, that'll be a dangerous team. But until then,
they have to make some signings.
They have to make some trades. They have to do something. Certain guys have to figure it out. But with the lineup like Yelich, Lorenzo Cain, Ryan Braun, Travis Shaw, Moustakas.
Well, Shaw has been playing horrible.
Yeah, but he's one of those guys that he's still a threat.
He'll get it going.
He has to get it going. He has to because he's been playing off.
They got Jesus Aguilar, who's a good power bat. They still got Marcus Thames.
He's not this year. The guy can't hit to save his life either.
Once again, it's still early. It's
April. But I feel like he doesn't hit a lot of. Last year, he probably did hit 35 last year, right?
I would have to look it up, but he's a solid power bat.
I don't know. I've been watching a lot of Brewers just because I'm a big Yelich fan. He just doesn't look good.
What he's doing is insane.
Yeah, he's killing it.
Another guy that's absolutely hitting moonshots left and right, Cody Bellinger. Tonight,
my God.
He hit his 10th home run. He's batting 400 with 10 homers and close to 30 RBIs or something like that.
Tied Chris Davis.
He's leading league in RBIs as well, I think.
Yeah. The Brewers, great offense. They got to figure out their pitching. Who's number 3 in the power rankings, Doug?
I can't believe I'm saying this, but Tampa Bay Rays.
They're hot.
Yeah,
I don't know how.
they're 12-4.
Classic Rays, man. Nobody knows how or why they
They
do
just
shit.
get
They just do
pitchers
it.
out of nowhere. Just
Well,
their farm system just develops.
But let's be
pitchers.
real, because Blake Snell is probably the best lefty in the game currently.
Glasnow is
Glasnow.
really
Glasnow.
Is
good.
pitching filthy this season.
My gosh.
They picked up Tommy Pham this season.
Who's
Or-
nice?
Well, I think they picked him up in the middle of last season.
Yeah, they had him last year.
They had him last year.
Who's playing nice?
Who's playing awesome.
Austin Meadows.
Lowe's playing great right now. That guy's on a hit streak.
They still got Kiermaier, who's probably the most underrated defensive center fielder in all of baseball. I don't think they sustain it because I don't think their offense is set. Like, I don't think they have guys that are going to be able to play like that.
Yeah,
all
right
season
now
long.
their offense is just hitting.
Yeah, everyone's just hot right
Yeah.
now, and I don't think
That
that's-
boy Choi. My boy
Low
Choi.
key, he's playing nice.
I don't think they sustain that, but I think they're hot, and it's nice to see one Florida team at least thrive.
Hometown team, man. Let's give them some props, bro.
Next team on the list is
My sleeper team, the New York Mets.
that was not
Mets.
your sleeper team. You're a liar.
No,
it
I called
was.
it.
Yeah,
I
he
called
did.
that
Did
was
you?
my sleeper team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've
You're still
looked
asleep.
they look bad in the last like 4 or 5 games or so.
Yeah.
The problem with the Mets right now is they're starting pitching, which I would have never have said that.
Syndergaard is struggling. DeGrom, as soon as you started talking good about him, he started just getting destroyed.
Their lineup is starting to cool off a little bit too over the last 4 to 5
Well,
games.
I would say over the last 2 days, the series with the Phillies, because before that, even before that, they were still hitting. You know what it is? Being a Mets fan, I watch them exclusively, so like I get to see a lot. The biggest improvement that I've seen from them is they have so many guys that are not just trying to pull the shit out of the ball all game long. They're hitting to the opposite field, and I think a lot of that comes from the new hitting coach, Chili Davis, and I think that also a lot of that comes from Robinson Cano, who's made his career of just slapping the ball the opposite way and taking that pitch instead of always trying to pull everything, even though he is a pull hitter.
Yeah, but his average isn't too great right now either.
Right now, he's in a little, but
He's
Cano's
batting 185 right now.
Cano's
So
always
good.
been one of those guys that.
No, he's been more 275 and higher
No.
throughout his career.
Let me finish my sentence. Cano's always one of those guys that starts slow.
Okay.
In the middle of the season, let's see how he does. He's a professional hitter. He's gonna hit.
He better. I have him on my fantasy team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Killing me.
he'll be fine.
But Pete Alonso,
Once again,
jeez.
I told you guys he's cooled down a little bit. I think teams are starting to get a scouting report on him that he likes the
He has an
fastball low.
OPS over 1 right now.
I mean, but
That's crazy.
let's keep it
I'm
real.
just
It's
saying.
still early. There's a lot of guys
I'm
that
just
have it
saying,
over 1.
he's killing it right now.
Yeah, he's filthy. Conforto's having a great season so far. They got a lot of good weapons in that lineup, and I think it's sustainable. Also, remember that the Mets have scored the most runs in the 7th inning or later in the major leagues right now. They're a team that they're gonna fight.
Still early though. Like
Still
you said.
early, but I mean they have a big lead on that stat.
I see them falling off towards
I think so too.
maybe
the bullpen,
July.
The
August.
bullpen looks bad. Looks really bad. Starting pitching looks really bad. They have one of the worst bullpen
I think
ERAs
you'll
in
start to
baseball.
see the Phillies and the Braves start to rise in that division.
For sure.
Yeah.
Next team on the power rankings. Final team
So,
top of the 5.
5th, I don't agree with this one. I think the 5th and 6th should be swapped. But right now, Phillies, they're the 5th, and then 6th would be the Dodgers.
So I can't believe we don't see the Mariners in there.
Oh, the Mariners are low in there for some reason.
Because-
they give no respect to the Mariners.
Because they've
They're
actually been losing a lot
They're
of games.
16th.
They've been hitting,
But they hit.
their starting pitching hasn't been good.
No, their pitching's been terrible. Well, I mean they lost Paxton, but I feel like that offense is
They just hit so
crazy, dude.
It is crazy, but to think
You got guys like Jay Bruce, who's like 3rd in the league right now with
much.
homers.
Yeah.
they're hitting crazy, but they're also giving up just
That's
as
the
many
thing,
runs.
just as many runs.
Yeah.
And they're losing a lot of games.
Like you see their games are like 13-7, like
Yeah,
crazy.
but you see, so you said the 5th team was the Phillies, right?
Phillies, yeah.
That's after watching. I watched them the last 3 days.
I'm not impressed.
You're not impressed. That lineup is. So we talk about a filthy lineup with the Brewers. that is a filthy
their lineup, but I'm talking about like specifically their pitching. Like I feel like they just
solid.
I
Arrieta
feel like
pitched
they
really
give up
good
so
the other
much
day.
runs.
Yeah, Arrieta's doing good. Nola's doing all right. But he's gonna get it
struggling
going
a little bit.
but he's gonna get it going.
Yeah, he's
still
a top
tier. Yeah.
I don't know. I just from like the names you see on the Phillies, I thought they would be doing a little bit better than 96.
They're not doing horrible. I think the key for the Phillies is the guys in the middle of their rotation, and I'm not talking about Harper and Rice. I'm talking about guys
middle
like,
of the order.
Yeah, middle of the order. Sorry, Herrera, Franco. Those guys need to keep on.
Michael Franco's not even in the middle of their order. He hits 8.
Yeah, because they got Bryce Harper now.
He's the best 8th hitter in the league.
McCutcheon's also playing pretty well.
Yeah.
McCutcheon's, now keep in mind that's probably going to tail off.
Yeah.
McCutcheon's older. As the season goes on, he'll probably like diminish.
Still, man.
Coming for somebody who's watching him on the Giants.
So listen, that 3-4 for me, I think is the most dangerous 3-4 combo in all of baseball right now. Harper and Rhys Hoskins. You can't walk Harper like you were walking him in with the Nationals.
Yeah.
You can't. If you do, you're going to get hurt by Hoskins. And I think that's only
I like Hoskins. He kind of reminds me of a Jim Thome. I think he's starting to become a pop-up or a home run hitter. I've been watching him a lot. His batting average is starting to diminish a little bit, but he's scary because at any moment he can go deep. At any moment, yeah. So I like the Phillies. I like Bryce, man. I'm always rooting for Bryce.
So one guy that I want to talk about, even though his team's not necessarily in the top 5, is Anthony Rendon. He has been having a phenomenal season so far. I think he's a free agent this year, so that could be leading. That could be a factor of why. But it also, I think he's the only guy in that lineup. And
Soto's been playing great too.
No, he's batting like 220.
Well, I mean, he's hitting a lot of home runs and he has a lot of RBIs too. Soto's a great hitter, man.
He's a good hitter, but I think of their young guys that they have on that team, Victor Robles is going to end up having.
He's playing good.
Yeah, I think he's going to end up having a better career than Juan Soto.
Wow. I don't know.
He's better. He's better defensively.
Juan Soto fan.
He's better defensively. He still has pop in his bat, right? So he can still hit the ball out of the park. He's got speed. Like I think he profiles as more. He's a better 5-tool player. Maybe
you could, but at this point in their careers, I think Soto's definitely hands down the better player.
Well, because he hits more for power, so people see that and they gravitate more to that. But I don't know. I'm not really impressed with Juan Soto this season so far. I mean, he has. Through how many games have they played? Like 15 now?
Yeah, they're 9-6.
He has 12 RBIs through like 15 games or something like that. He's batting, I think, like 240. He's not a guy that's going to hit for high average anyway. Maybe like 280, 290.
I'll take that at a 1. I'll take that with 35 home runs.
I don't think he's going to get you 35 home runs this season. I think he gets you maybe like 25, 27.
No, I think he's in the 30s.
We'll see.
I think so.
I think that wraps up baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? I think that wraps up pretty much everything. I think we talked about. I know this podcast was a little bit of a longer one. We kind of got into it a little bit.
We got Eli talking ignorant stuff.
I'm just talking real shit.
Listen, we're not getting back to that.
I'm talking real shit. We could get right back into it.
No, the veins were popping out of Eli's neck. He was getting mad. He was about to come over here and mollywop both of us.
That green jacket was about to turn into a red jacket.
Gotta defend my quarterback.
No, but it was a good podcast we had. I think we talked about everything that we want to talk about, even though we had to condense some stuff. Shout out to everyone for listening. Once again, check us out on Instagram and Twitter, Prospect Talk _ for both. Last week we posted not only the link to the podcast, but the meet our first podcaster, which was myself, your boy. When we post this one, we'll probably be introducing another one of us so you guys can get a feel for, once again, who's behind the voice. Appreciate you guys listening. Once again, website is coming soon. Very, very soon. It's like right there, almost done.
Please. I want this website out.
No, but thanks for listening. Check us out on social media. We've been doing a lot of cool stuff on there. A lot of polls and posts and stuff like that. So check it out.
Absolutely.
See you guys next week.
We out.
Peace. Eli's a bum.